When the lights came up at the JMA Wireless Dome and the orange sea rose to its feet, you could feel a kind of déjà vu sweep through the building, like a memory waiting to be remembered. For Syracuse fans, for college basketball followers, and for families who have watched a young boy grow up under stadium lights, that night felt historic in a quiet way. It wasn't just another opening game, it was a circle closing and another one opening. It was Kiyan Anthony stepping onto the hardwood wearing Syracuse orange, the same color his father once wore with fame and ferocity, and two parents sitting courtside, watching a dream gently become real. Lala Anthony could not hide it. She cheered every play, every drive, every calm pull-up jumper. When Kiyan danced through traffic and found space to score, her face lit up like a hometown scoreboard. She recorded clips, posted a photo later that night with a caption that read simply, "First college game for Kiyan Anthony. Proud mom moment." Simple words, enormous weight. Carmelo watched from afar with a different kind of pride, the steady gravitational pride of a man who remembered what it felt like to lace those sneakers, to hear that same crowd roar. In the interviews after the game he was unguarded and tender. "I'm just a proud dad," he said, voice cracking a little with the kind of nostalgia only a parent knows. "He's developing. He's playing the right way. I'm proud of you, champ." For both parents, this was more than statistics on a box score. It was the sum of early mornings in driveways, hours in the gym, lessons in humility, and the quiet work that happens long before the cameras arrive. On the stat sheet, Kiyan's first game read like the start of something promising: 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. For a college debut, numbers like that speak of skill. Yes, but more importantly, they spoke of composure. He moved like someone who had practiced not just shooting form, but how to carry himself in pressure. His shot was smooth, his court vision sharp, his body language calm. Syracuse fans, many of whom still chant the songs and relive the glory days of 2003, erupted each time Kiyan touched the ball. There were audible gasps at his first dunk attempt, familiar whistles at his court IQ, and an appreciative hush when he found an open teammate. The arena hummed with the recognition of a legacy continuing, not being duplicated. A young man forging his own path on a court with deep memory. Afterwards, commentators compared his footwork to his father's, the same fluidity, the same sense of timing, but they also pointed out the things that were distinct: a quicker handle, a modern guard's instincts, a shot selection that said Kiyan was his own player. The night had celebrity moments too, clips from the game scattered across social feeds, and the one that lit up people's timelines was a familiar face acknowledging the event. LeBron James reposted coverage of Kiyan's debut, adding a short, affectionate caption, "Yes sir, nephew." LeBron's reaction was not just a celebrity cameo, it represented decades of family ties, training courts, summer camp scrimmages, and the kind of friendship that becomes family. For the Anthony and James households, the relationship runs deeper than highlight reels. LeBron's sons have trained with Kiyan, there have been backyard workouts, family vacations, and the kind of encouragement that only comes from people who've seen the long view. So when LeBron celebrated Kiyan's moment, it was both a public endorsement and a private blessing. And at home, Lala and Carmelo told the world the same thing parents tell each other privately: "We're here for you." Their co-parenting showed a maturity that quietly resonated with fans. Despite a very public past, a relationship that has been played out under scrutiny, the two put their son first. They celebrated together, they hugged, they smiled for photos. In that arena, for that night, family came before anything else. One of the toughest things for children of famous parents is that comparison follows like a shadow. Every dribble is analyzed against a highlight reel. Every shot is measured against a career that made an entire university roar. But Kiyan's game hinted at a different truth. Legacy does not have to be a chain, it can be a foundation. Carmelo has always insisted Kiyan chart his own course. "You don't got to be me. Be you," he told his son, advice that Kiyan appears to have taken to heart. In interviews, Kiyan was steady and grateful, speaking of Syracuse not as a place to step into someone else's story, but to write his own chapter. It's special to know I'm part of something that means so much to him and to Syracuse basketball, he said. That line carried humility and resolve. Lala's posts and shoutouts were more than proud mom captions. They were a record of years invested, early practices, long flights, evenings spent helping a son balance school, sports, and normal teenage life. People think it's easy because of who his dad is. He's earned every opportunity, she has said in earlier interviews. That echoed through the stands that night. Recognition that talent meets work, and that both parents have been integral to this young man's development. The Anthony story is not without its chapters of public pain. Years ago, headlines and rumors complicated a marriage that many admired. Media reports and tabloid speculation made private matters public, and the couple's relationship weathered strain, separation, and eventually a changed, co-parenting dynamic. But what is notable about the Anthony family is how often they chose dignity over drama. Lala did not use social media for spectacle. Carmelo did not respond with sensationalism. Instead, both built privacy and stability around Kiyan. That decision, to protect a child from the full weight of public curiosity, was a recurring theme that night. When they sat together courtside, there was a sense that their journey, with its seasons of love, mistakes, and reconciliation, had shaped a parenting team focused on one thing above all: their son's flourishing. In conversations since, both have reflected on mistakes with humility. Carmelo has acknowledged areas where he needed to grow. Lala has spoken about rediscovering herself after painful seasons. Yet neither used the past as a weapon. Instead, it's become context, the backdrop to a present where mutual respect and parental unity take center stage. Coaches and analysts will watch film, project minutes, and estimate floor time. Fans will predict breakout games and potential conference honors. But for the Anthony family, tonight is a milestone that sits beyond scouting reports. It's a marker of growth, of a boy who became a man in the public eye, of parents who learned to steward love and guidance, even when the cameras were indifferent. Carmelo has hinted he'll be courtside soon. When that day comes, when father and son share the same arena under the same lights, it will be more than a family snapshot. It will be a symbol of how legacies evolve, of how children become people in their own right, and of how love, when prioritized, creates space for new stories. Kiyan said it best: having him there, that's going to mean everything. Those words aren't about applause or approval, they are about being seen by the people who mattered most in his life. There's something almost sacred about the parents who show up and then step back. The ones who let a child take the spotlight and cheer from the sidelines without inserting themselves into the narrative. That quiet faith in their child's development is an unspoken kind of worship. For Lala and Carmelo Anthony, this season feels like that, a testimony written in free throws, in late practices, in texts that say, "You good?" rather than, "Are you famous yet?" It's the small things that add up: a phone call after a tough stretch, a text offering advice, a hug in the locker room. And on nights like this, when history and hope meet, the world is reminded that legacy is more than a highlight reel. It's discipline, it's character. It's the willingness of parents to let go so their child can learn to fly. As the lights dimmed and the arena emptied, the images lingered: Lala's smile, Carmelo's quiet pride, Kiyan walking off the court with the calm of someone who belongs where he is. For fans, it was another game. For Syracuse, it was another win. For the Anthony family, it was something deeper: a milestone, a validation of years, and a quiet blessing. The story isn't finished. There will be ups, downs, and columns written after every loss and win. But on this night, when a son donned a jersey and a mother cheered until her voice ran out, the message was clear. Some moments are bigger than headlines. They are the heartwork of a family, done in public and preserved with love. And as Kiyan begins his own journey, the Anthony legacy takes a breath, smiles, and watches what a new generation will build. Because in the end, the greatest plays are the ones made off the court, the sacrifices, the late nights, the coaching conversations, the simple persistent presence of people who refuse to let a child grow alone. That night, in orange and under bright lights, Lala and Carmelo celebrated not a name, but a becoming. They celebrated a son stepping into his life. And for them and for all of us who watch our children take their first real steps into the world, that is everything. 4.